Castlevania is a Netflix original animated series that consists of 4 seasons of a man fighting other spooky men alongside a woman and another man. Now, I enjoyed the show a lot, but season 4 left me questioning why I did. I mean, it's full of bad writing, cringy character arcs, let alone the ending, which it was just the biggest disappointment and I think the downfall of the whole show. Now, don't rate me in the comments. I still enjoyed it, but not as much as previous seasons. Now, there will be spoilers in this video, so don't watch it if you haven't seen the show. I'm not going to go too far into the story, but there might be something that you haven't seen and you don't want me to ruin. So first, let's start off with just the bad writing in the season. Season 4 was full of bad writing. I mean, there was pointless dialogue that took you out of the world and the story, and then just brought you into some weird Benidorm sex scene. Saint Germain is an old man with a massive simp problem. He loses his wife in the infinite corridor. His dialogue, it goes downhill. I mean, he starts coming up with gems like, God is standing in front of you. He's going to have sex soon. Now, who the fuck thought that would be a memorable and powerful line for the poor guy to say? I mean, who just sat there and said, yep, that's a good line, let's whack it in there. Another skullfuck, Alucard, the son of Dracula, all-powerful vampire, takes a piss and then says, I should drink less wine and more water because this stuff is coming out like scabs and wax. Why the fuck do we want to imagine his 100-year-old vampire schlong pissing out solids? I mean, I guess they were trying to be funny and maybe lighten up his character, but it just came off stupid, and he wasn't even talking to anyone, it was just him. The whole season felt rushed. The pacing was off for me. I mean, you would have episodes where nothing would happen, or they would be fighting the same people for about 4 episodes, and then the next second, they find some special thing that wins them the whole fucking war. The only way I can explain it is, if you've watched Star Wars The Clone Wars, you know they miss out stuff in the middle to like make it shorter and more enjoyable. Yeah, just imagine that, except they don't miss out the middle bits for half the season, and then they miss them out the next half. Belmont finds this magical knife thing. It's like a mysterious old knife that we know fuck all about. And they try to build it up as this big mystery that he knew about, but no one else did. And then they explain the whole thing in 5 seconds at the end of the show. Bang. That's it. The problems go on, but my main character problem was not Sir Germain or Ratko, who was this Russian vampire who said the word fucking so many times.
Fuck you to hell, Varney. I am entirely fucking finished with propping up your delusional bullshit just to get things done.
What?
I am a soldier. I still do not know what the fuck you are supposed to be. I'm a fucking vampire. Fucking drop. I am fucking perfect.
My biggest problem was Vardy. He was like a Cockney vampire that actually turned out to be this cringy adaptation of Death. I mean, they were trying to make him this like arrogant London vampire, but they tried so hard it actually just came off as cheesy. If his character was boiled back a bit and didn't have this stupid transformation to Death and being revealed as the lady that gave Saint Germain the key to the infinite corridor, his character would be a fine character. Don't think it worked. And the transformation to Death, it was just it was stupid. This like grim Reaper kind of death they just transformed it into, but then still cracks jokes, and I really didn't like that bit of it. I think they should have either kept him as Vardy and had a small transformation, or just said the Vardy was Death without fucking turning into the big Grim Reaper thing. But it wasn't all bad. My favourite character this season wasn't actually Belmont, it was Hector. His arc with Isaac was brilliant, and it actually felt like the characters were experiencing real feelings and change. The only bad parts were, I mean, Hector's relationship with Lenore. It was a good relationship and a good idea, of two characters that have mixed feelings for each other. Some hate, mostly love. But then when she dies, he just doesn't really give a shit. She goes off and kills herself, and he's like, yeah, this is what she wanted to do, and then stares off at the sunset. And the crude, like, innuendos between them, they were kind of a hit and miss for me. Some of them landed, others didn't, but that's just my opinion. Now, we get to the worst part of the show for me, the ending. I mean, everyone dies. Belmont dies. Germaine dies. Dracula and his wife come back and then die. But then everyone gets brought back to life. And it's stupid. I mean, I know they're setting up a lot of spin-off shows, so they needed to do stuff like this. But when Belmont dies, I mean, he poorly sacrifices himself. His words to Cypher are just like, oh, I love you, always loved you. She's like, yeah, me too, bro. And then he just dies, sacrificing himself. And then Alucard names his new village after Belmont, and that would be the perfect ending and a setup to a new spin-off. But then he just lumbers in on a horse, half dead, and he's like, oh, Saint Germain, he rescued me by opening the corridor somehow. And you're like, what the fuck? We've just found out that Cypher is pregnant, and the village is called Belmont. It's going to be a great ending. No, he fucking stumbles his way back in like nothing happened. I mean, and then Dracula and his wife, who are going to be trapped in a half-woman, half-man body, but failed, they just managed to come back to life out of hell somehow and go travelling into England. I can only see this as another spin-off possibility, as it makes no sense otherwise, but I think that's a bit lazy writing. All in all, the season, it's made for spin-offs, I think. I mean, the lack of information about Stigger's relationship, and, well, first of all, they're called sisters, which is slightly incestual, but whatever. I think we'll see more of Stigger and the other lady, I can't pronounce her name, in a spin-off relationship series kind of thing. And it was still enjoyable, apart from the ending. But I still enjoyed the show. It had brilliant sound design, I mean amazing. The animation was good, and it was just a pleasant watch. Even though it did have its problems, I still think Castlevania is a good show and definitely worth the watch.